One, two, three. Okay, Jai Jagannath. So you may notice that okay, we are having a new computer here, so the image might be better. The suggestion was to discuss today about Sri Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, about his mission, what we can do to serve his mission, right? This is, you want to say it again?
Yes, it's like we know, we have heard about what the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was exactly, but that has been tampered or manipulated in some way or other. So it will be better if we can understand what exactly he wanted to do and what teachings we can get from his lifestyle or life history or pastime or what he has said exactly.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So I will talk and you please speak up anytime you have questions, anytime something is not clear, you want to say something, please speak up. Huh? Okay, so Krishna Chaitanya is very famous in the West and in India as well, but maybe maybe even more in the West because of the work that has been done by ISKCON especially. So the mission presented by the official followers of Krishna Chaitanya in the Gaudiya Vaishnava movement is the distribution of the holy name, which is defined as Sankirtana. Sankirtana is literally meaning chanting or singing together, glorifying together. Now, Kirtana is one of the basic forms of bhakti. In the Navadha Bhakti is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, and so on. So the Kirtana comes right after Shravanam. Shravanam means listening, Kirtanam means repeating, talking, singing, chanting, explaining, glorifying, writing, whatever pertains to the transmission of the whatever pertains to God. So name, form, qualities, teachings, glories, companions, activities, everything regarding God is non-different from God. So in this perspective, we can better understand what is the meaning of Sankirtana. So Sankirtana is not just getting together and singing with musical instruments. It's much more than that. In fact, if we want to discuss about the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, we know that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati used the term Brihat Mridanga to refer to his printing press, where he was printing books. So at some point, this term was extended, a little bit in the practice of selling books by ISKCON specifically, that has become so famous, especially because of the book distribution. That was called the Sankirtana. But at some point, especially in ISKCON, this definition went into a different type of interpretation in which Sankirtan was just collecting funds. So people in ISKCON were told they were doing Sankirtan while they're going around selling agarbatti, carpets, stickers, stickers without specifically anything connected to Krishna or to God, but focused on collecting money, which is not Sankirtan. The important thing of Sankirtan is that we understand better, we have better realizations, and we distribute these realizations about Bhagavan, about the name, form, activities, qualities, teachings, and so on. So in a sense, now we are doing Sankirtan. This is the main focus of the mission of Krishna Chatanya. So Krishna Chatanya was born in a Brahmin family. Jagannath Mishra was from a family originally from Orissa. And in fact, Jagannath is a very close, very, very important concept in the life and preaching of Krishna Chatanya. At that time, Bengal was under the Muslim rule already. The Muslim invasions had extinguished completely the previous tradition of the Hindu rulers, like the Sena dynasty. So when the last Hindu ruler was defeated and the Muslim rule was established in Bengal, there was some development, social, cultural development. The ancient capital of the Sena kingdom was Navadvip. So Navadvip was used to be a very important cultural and religious center. But with the arrival, with the establishment of the Muslim rule, a situation became very difficult. Now, the Muslim domination, the Muslim Raj, if we want to call it like that, was very clever because the number of Muslims in the region was not greater than the number of Hindus. So even after they converted, lots of people forcibly or by enticement. But they kept they kept very good relationships with those Brahmins who were not a threat to the Islamic government. Therefore, we see that from the beginning, the story of Krishna Chaitanya and his close associates, such as Haridas and others, are in stark contrast with the corrupt Brahmin community. of Navadvip. Navadvip was not a cultural center anymore, but there was still sufficient religious power, social power from the Brahmin community. The famous Jagai and Madai that are connected in the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition with an extra manifestation of Jai and Vijay, the doorkeepers of gatekeepers of Vaikuntha, is a very specific story. Jagai and Madai were from the Brahmin community. Then we have this Gopala Chapala, who is also a villain in the biographies of Chaitanya. He was also a Brahmin. The fact that he was a tantric, okay, you know, we can say that also that was something that probably the Muslims were very afraid about. So they left the bad tantrics alone. They didn't want to curb the tantrics, especially those who were dabbling with ghosts, because Muslims were very superstitious at those times. So another example was the very bad treatment that was inflicted on Haridas. Haridas Thakur is one of the most famous followers of Chaitanya, although he was senior in age to Chaitanya, but he was a very devout follower of Chaitanya. He was called the Namacharya, because the Namacharya is a title that implies that Haridas was a great teacher, a great authority on the chanting of the holy name. Now, the holy name, when we speak of holy name, many people think about the Krishna only, but that is not a fact. In the Sikshastakam, which is the only written text that is officially attributed to Krishna Chaitanya, we read that Chaitanya was meditating on the fact that God has millions of names, so many names, innumerable names. And all of God's names have all these potency. So, you know, the Namacharya was chanting names. Maybe he was chanting Hare Krishna. Maybe he was chanting Jayam Shri Ram, Rama Raghava, Raghava. Or he was chanting Hare Haraya Namaha. Or he was chanting, we don't know exactly. We know that he was chanting a lot of holy names. Now, one of the favorite songs that were popular in the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition is the Hari Haraya Nama Krishna, Yadavaya Namaha. So we have this Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. This Hare has been explained by the Saraswata Gaudiya tradition as referring to Radha. I don't know if there is any actual place where Radha is called Hara. But everybody in India knows that Hara is Shiva Mahadev. So Hara Hara Mahadev doesn't mean Radhe Radhe Mahadev. Okay. So it's not you know, a clear-cut story, because, of course, it could be Radha, who knows? But it could also be Hara. Haraya, is little, difficult to connect with Radha. Also, we know from other biographies, especially the Chaitanya Bhagavata, that Krishna Chaitanya had several episodes, especially during his journey from Bengal to Purushottama to Puri, Purushottama Kshetra, where Krishna Chaitanya stayed at Shiva temples, and he was chanting the name of Shiva, and very happily, great ecstasy. He stopped at Lingaraj temple in Bhubaneswar. He stopped at lots of Shiva temples. You can see the journey from the various biographies of Chaitanya. I have made a summary study of all the biographies of Chaitanya in my book, The Life of Krishna Chaitanya. So it's interesting to see that the emphasis on Krishna only that is pushed by some people in the Saraswata Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, especially in ISKCON, is not exactly supported by the original text, the original records. Especially one of the most important quotes that convinced me in this regard is from the Rupa Goswami, a very clear statement that says, Shrutis Vriti Puranadi Pancharatra Vidhim Vina Aikantika Harer Bhaktir Utpataya Eva Kalpate. Now, even Hari is another name that is not very contemplated in ISKCON's practice, except when they say Haribol. But Haribol has become some kind of, salutation when people don't think about what they're saying. So if someone tells you Haribol and you say Hari Hari, like they look at you, what are you talking about? Haribol means say the name Hari, right? So Haribol should be Haribol. So this is about the main mission of Chaitanya, to chant, to distribute the holy names in plural. In a context that was not attached to the caste system, but was not against the Brahmana culture. This is another important factor, that it's very relevant to our life, to our world today. So we see from all the episodes around the biography of Krishna Chaitanya is that he himself came from Brahmana family, but he accepted people and followers from all walks of life. He didn't make any spiritual discrimination. He was aware of social, circumstances, but he didn't take them into excessive consideration especially in regard to the spiritual context. One example is also Advaita Acharya, who is also senior to Chaitanya. And when Advaita was organizing, I had prepared a feast, a prasadam distribution, a food distribution. I think it was a Shraddha. So in some occasions, of course, it is the custom to give food to brahmanas, because that is one of the important points of many ritual traditions. So giving food to brahmanas, and Advaita actually, instead of inviting, high caste brahmanas, he invited Haridas, who was in a very difficult position, because Haridas was from a Muslim family. Now, there are several versions of the story. Some versions say that he was born from a Brahmana family, but he became an orphan. He lost his parents, who died when he was very young, so he was adopted by a Muslim neighbor. But even if he was born in a Muslim family, that wouldn't make but much difference. Because once someone was, converted to Islam by force or by any other means, that was called a Muslim, was not a member of the Hindu community anymore. So the same happened with Rupa and Sanatana. Rupa and Sanatana came from a proud caste family, little confused because they were thinking they were Brahmana kings, Brahmana Kshatriyas, which doesn't really exist as a Varna. But then they went into the service of the Muslim government, so they became Muslims, and they were even given Muslim names like Sakara Malik and what was the other? Yeah, so they were Muslims to all effect, for all purposes they were Muslim. Yet they met Sri Krishna Chatanya, and they were inspired by him, and they got instructions to take sannyas, and take sannyas, not exactly take sannyas, because nobody in the Gaudiya line were taking sannyas. They were taking Babaji Vesh. Baba Vesha means they were renouncing everything, and they were just dressed with a loincloth or just a very, very little clothing. And they were living in complete renunciation, what we would call sannyas today, maybe. And they went to Vrindavan to sit there, meditate, excavate the holy sites that were lost after the Muslim invasions, and write books. So Rupa, Sanatana, and Jiva, especially, they wrote a lot of books. And they are considered as gurus in the line of Chaitanya. Although, in the line of Krishna Chatanya, this is another interesting thing, there is no real importance to the process of Diksha. This is another interesting thing. Like Chaitanya got his normal, usual 3 Dikshas. Like the first Diksha as a ritualistic, social purpose. The second Diksha when he met Ishvara Puri, and he received the Gopala mantra, which is still today considered the main Diksha mantra for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And then he took sannyasa Diksha in the Shankara mat. So we see he had three very different, apparently different Dikshas, but that was not in any specific sampradaya. Because Ishvara Puri was simply a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. And Madhavendra Puri practically started his own line. In fact, as I mentioned also in my book, it is stated in the by both Bhaktivinoda and in Ganidasha Dipika that Madhavendra is the first one in the line. Madhavendra Puri is the first one in the Sampradaya line. Before Madhavendra, there was no bhakti. Means, so what? Where is the Sampradaya starting then? So I believe that whatever effort has been made to give a previous line of gurus in the Sampradaya, disciplic succession, before Madhavendra Puri, are like, what to say, presentation efforts. I would not say propaganda, I would say advertisement, to show that the line of the followers of Chaitanya was respectable. Okay, until now, you're following? Any questions?
Yes, I have one question. Like,
please shoot.
Like in Shikshashtakam, we know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said.
Can you please speak a little more loudly and clearly?
Yeah, in
Thanks.
Shikshashtakam, as we have heard, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying Nam Nam Makari Bahuda.
Yeah.
So he has not mentioned any particular name to chant. He has said all the names have have different potencies. So how much it is justified that we will say thousands name of Lord Vishnu is equal to 3 names of Lord Rama, and 3 names of Lord Rama is equal to 1 name of Lord Krishna? So,
yes, exactly. This is exactly what I was saying now. It's advertisement. There is a good tradition that is called Phalashruti. You know what is a Phalashruti? Phalashruti is is a few verses, sometimes one verse, sometimes more verses, at the end of any stuti or ritual or whatever, that says, if you recite this stuti, you will get this blessing, you will get, like the Vishnu Sahasranam itself, at the end, it says, whoever chants the Vishnu Sahasranam, if he's in jail, he will become free. If he's poor, he will become rich. If like that. This is not a guarantee. And it's not the purpose why we should chant the stuti. But it is attractive to many people. So it's an encouragement. It's like advertisement. It's saying, okay, why not try? Chant this mantra. Some people have got these blessings. So in the same way, it's kind of advertisement to say that one name of Ram equals to 1,000 names of Vishnu, and one name of Krishna equals 3 names of Ram. It's advertisement. The Ishtadeva idea. Why we have the Vaishnava Puranas, the Shaiva Puranas, the Shakta Puranas. Because the beauty of Hinduism is that it's very individual based. It's personalized. So you go and see there are 6 Puranas that present Vishnu specifically from the perspective of Vaishnavas. There are 6 Puranas that present Shiva from the Vishnu from the perspective of Shiva devotees. So the Vaishnava Puranas present Vishnu and Shiva and Shakti from the perspective of a Vishnu devotee. Then the Shaiva Puranas present Vishnu, Shiva, and Shakti from the perspective of the Shiva devotees. And the Shakta Puranas present Shiva, Vishnu, Shiva, and Shakti from the perspective of a devotee of the Mother Goddess. But they're not sectarian. They are not supposed to be opposed to each other. This is why they're called darshanas. If we understand the meaning of the word of darshana, as we were discussing in our meeting when we were talking about the 6 darshanas, we understand that it's just the perspective. It's not that we are contemplating different objects. It's just the perspective. Let's make a practical example. We have, in Puri, we have the Grand Road, okay? Grand Road goes from the Shri Mandir to Gundicha, right? Now, if you're standing near the Shri Mandir, you can see the Grand Road that goes from Shri Mandir to Gundicha. If you stand at Gundicha, you see Grand Road as the road that goes from Gundicha to Shri Mandir. Is that non-reconcilable? Of course it's the same road. And it doesn't matter much from which end you're looking from. Because it depends where you are. It depends on your perspective. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So, of course, we need to stand somewhere. We cannot just see exactly all the perspectives at the same time, because that's not possible. Like what Krishna says in Gita, we cannot, it's very difficult for someone who has a body to meditate on the transcendental. We need to look at the form. So that's why we concentrate on the concept of Ishtadevata. Every person should have an Ishtadeva, and that can also change. It's not that it has to be always the same. It can change at times during life, as we develop, we see things in a different way, we change perspective. But the ultimate purpose is to reconcile all the perspective into a multidimensional vision of reality. Who is right? The one who says that Grand Road starts at Gundicha, the one who says that Grand Road starts at Shri Mandir? They're both right, and neither is right. Because Grand Road is there, it has both ends, both sides. If you are on the left side of the road, you see things from the left side of the road. If you are on the right side, you see things differently. You look on the other side, you see different things. If you are above the road, you still see things in a different way. But you cannot, as long as you have a material body and a material mind, you cannot see all of them at the same time. This is what threw Arjuna off balance, because Viratrupa was showing everything in one place. And that was scary. Arjuna was not scared because, some of these forms in the Virat Purusha had big teeth, Arjuna was scared because, the material mind, the material vision, the eyes, the brain, the intellect, material intellect, cannot contemplate what is beyond time, space, and the individuality. That's why it's called achintya, adhokshaja. You understand?
Yes.
So there's nothing wrong to carry on from our individual perspective, about our Ishtadeva, as long as we don't become offensive to the other personalities of God. Then it's a problem. Because people who become actually offensive to other personality of God, with the idea that they're showing special devotion to one personality of God only, what are they? They are suffering from Abrahamic conditioning, because this is what the Abrahamics do. Abrahamics say, because our God is the only true God, we have to destroy all the other false gods who are actually Satan. This is typically Abrahamic concept. It has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with Krishna Chatanya, with the Vedas, with Bhagavad Gita, with the Vedic tradition, nothing at all. So, as it happens many times, we have to draw a line between dharma and adharma, and vidya and avidya. Now, it is okay to glorify one's Ishtadeva above the other forms, because, of course, you like, you love your mother best than other mothers. Okay, because you have a close relationship. So your mother is the most wonderful mother in the world. Of course, yeah, okay, nobody is going to say no. But the problem is that when you start saying that your mother is the only good mother and all other mothers in the world are just prostitutes, criminals and bad people, that's stupid. Are you following?
Yes. Yes.
So, okay, there is no real Shastra to say that, one name of Krishna is worth 3 names of Ram. But, okay, if someone wants to think that, okay, let them chant Krishna. As long as they don't go against the Shruti, Smriti, Puranas, all the Puranas, including the Shaiva Puranas and the Shakta Puranas, all the Shruti, all the Smriti, all the Puranas. If they don't go against any of these, okay, let them do. Let them glorify their particular Ishtadeva. Otherwise, if they do anything that goes against Dharma and Vidya, then it is a useless disturbance to society. An invented, imaginative idea that is only creating damage to society. This is Rupa Goswami. If people who are called Rupanugas don't accept that, I don't know what they accept. They accept Abraham. They accept the Bible. In fact, what they do they have these paintings, you know, that they put Jesus, Muhammad, and a company, you know, as avatars of Vishnu, which is like, whoa, what's that? You see the point.
Yeah.
And Krishna Chaitanya definitely did not teach that. In fact, there is, you know, there has been an attempt to reconcile the teachings and examples and the story of Krishna Chaitanya with some Abrahamic um, themes, you know, just to make them more, to make Chaitanya more palatable to people coming from an Abrahamic background, which we can understand. Okay, it's a package, you know, it's a nice packaging, but we should not confuse the packaging with the contents, you know, with the actual substance that is inside the packaging. Because otherwise we risk throwing away the good stuff, which is supposed to be nutrition, you know, the food, and eating the packaging. So this is what I think we could say about this. Do you find this answers your question?
Yes, like I was thinking, like we can see in scriptures like so many references which are emphasizing on chanting of the holy name, especially the names of Lord Hari. Like so many
Exactly.
references we are seeing. So and particularly for this age of Kali Yuga, so we are seeing like it's been given in every shastra to chant the names of Lord Hari. So I was thinking
Because
like,
Hari, but Hari is interesting, very interesting, because it's the meaning of the name Hari. We don't want to give a material interpretation, but Hari means he who takes away,
yeah,
right? And it's also translated as lion. Unfortunately, some people also translate it as monkey, but it's not about monkey. But mainly the idea is that Vishnu takes away all the bad things. So it's a concept of purification. Now we know that Hari as Vishnu manifests in this world as Shiva. So Shiva is not different from Hari. Actually, Shiva is also called. I mean, when talking about the Shiva beyond this material world, the name that is connected to that position is Sadashiva.
yeah,
And Sadashiva is the connection that is given, for example, in the Gaudiya tradition to Advaitacharya. So in the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Krishnadasa Kaviraj makes his you know, theological analysis of the Panchatattva, he you know, clearly says that Advaita is Narayan Sadashiva. So Sadashiva and Narayan are one. If you go and see in the Vishnu Sahasranam, how many names of Shiva are there? Right?
yeah. That's exactly I was emphasizing on. Like if someone is chanting
Yeah.
Om Namah Shivaya on beads, like 108 beads we are using to chant the name of Hare Krishna. So if someone is chanting like Panchakshari of Lord Shiva, so there should be no difference between chanting of Hare Krishna and chanting of Panchakshari.
Well, no difference. Again, you know, every name is special.
Yeah.
All the names are one, but there is variety.
Mm.
This is what all the Vaishnavacharyas have been trying to tell us. You know, and Chaitanya comes up with the definition, Chaitanya, better Chaitanya's followers, because I don't think Chaitanya ever said that. But the definition is Achintya Bheda Abheda Tat.
Yeah.
So all the names are the same and still they are distinct from each other.
Yeah.
Because each name contains a specific power. Like when you say, you know, any name is a form. One form, any form, each form is a lila. Each form carries a rasa, a lila, an entourage, devotees, a dham. Every name is different. Yet at the same time, all names are one. Which is again something that is not easy for people to understand, because we have a material body and material mind, and to see everything in one place is very difficult. This is why, you know, we have to go beyond the material mind. That is what we call transcendental, you know, because it transcends time, space, and individuality. You know, time, space, and individuality are characteristic of the material level. Now, of course, individual souls continue to exist, individual personalities of God continue to exist, but not in a separate manner. This is the key to understand that between Dvaita and Advaita, there is no difference. This is what Chaitanya was trying to do. You know, you understand the difference, the point.
Yeah, no, I was just like, I just want to get clarification regarding this point. Suppose someone is not aware about this Ishtadev concept. So just like any other general human being, he has some longingness for some particular deity or
Sure.
some particular vigraha. So if someone is, suppose someone is very much attached to Lord Shiva, so we cannot, it is difficult on our part to convince
That
him
is
to
called
chant Hare Krishna.
Ishtadeva.
Yeah. So if we are saying him to chant the names of to chant the name of Lord Krishna and chant Hare Krishna and beads, so it will be difficult for him to chant
Of
because he
course,
has
we have
longing.
the famous story of Murari Gupta. Murari Gupta is one of the earliest biographers of Chaitanya. And
Yeah.
Murari Gupta was so attached to Sri Ram,
Yeah.
you know, and all, and the other, you know, Mr. Magoos around were telling him, no, you have to chant the name of Krishna because, you know, Murari Gupta said, no, you know, I want to chant the name of Ram. What's your problem? You know, and the matter came to Krishna Chatanya, and he said, you know, he was totally in ecstasy, embraced Murari Gupta, said, you are like Hanuman.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
Mm.
The problem is that people who try to do this trick of pushing others to the so-called exclusive devotion to Hari without respecting the Shruti, Smriti, Puranas, etc., they are useless disturbances to society.
Yeah.
They are the reason why society went down the drain. What should we do? we don't need to go out to war against them because, yeah, okay, they will learn when they learn. Otherwise, karma is there. That's why we should not be attached either to associate with them or to fight against them.
Yes.
We need to focus on what is beneficial for everyone. Right? So you want to chant your, whatever Mahamantra. This is your thing. This is why the relationship between Guru and Sisha is personal. It's supposed to be personal. Nobody else can put their nose into it. Because that's offensive. That's the offense that he is considering the Guru as a mere human being. That's offensive. Right?
Yes.
And what do you do when you say that the Guru is just a representative of an organization? Doesn't that amount to say that Guru is a normal human being? Doesn't it?
Yes.
Sorry. That's offensive. The Guru position, the Guru and Sisha, is an extremely personal relationship. The Guru has to have all the responsibility there. Nobody else, nothing else can interfere. So if the Guru knows the disciple, the Guru knows that the disciple has more attraction towards one personality of Godhead. So the Guru is instructing the disciple to chant that particular name, Mahamantra. Where is the problem? No, there's no problem. The problem starts when other people, they're going to say, oh, the GBC said. Yeah, who cares? What is the GBC anyway? What kind of responsibility does the GBC have? What is the position in Shastra about the GBC? What do the Shastras say about the GBC? Nope, nothing. Zero. Laddu. Right?
Yes.
So, when we speak about the 10 offenses, we really need to read them properly. Like we were discussing about the 10 offenses, one of our previous meetings, and it is offensive to say that it is an offense to give respect to Shiva. It's like, okay, where are we now? It is offensive. The Padma Purana says that it is offensive to separate the name of Shiva from the name of Vishnu. It is offensive to say that Shiva and Vishnu are two separate persons. That's the offense. Is that clear?
Yes.
Because the word, if you remember in that verse, the key word is bhinna.
Bhinna. Yeah.
So what does bhinna mean? Baba. Right?
Yes.
Good morning. So there you go with the 10 offenses. And we could go through all the other 10 offenses, nicely. The first offense, is to offend a pure devotee. Who is a pure devotee then? If you take a label, pure devotee, and stick it on a criminal, it doesn't make it a pure devotee. I don't remember. I read something recently. Someone was asking, if you consider the leg, the tail of a dog as a leg, how many legs does a dog have? And people will say, oh, 5. You say, no, 4, because no matter how you consider the tail, it's still not a leg. He's still a tape, right? You cannot define the pure devotee according to political considerations. You know, you can do it actually, but it has no meaning. I mean, you know, I can call myself you know, a ballerina, but it doesn't make me one. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay, any more elaborations on this subject? Not really.
Not
Next topic. Any from what I was saying before about Chaitanya's mission, the Muslim situation, Muslim domination of Bengal, Jagannath Puri. What was going on in Puri? No, not exact. Okay, so let's see. We had 1 hour. I think we can stop here. Otherwise, we see if we have more questions.